Hi, this is your host Swapnil Bharti, and we are here at SUSECon in Nashville, Tennessee, and today we have with us Terri Schlosser.
Yes.
I think I did not butcher your last name.
No, you didn't.
And I'm used to, because my last name gets butchered all the time.
Yes, I can't pronounce your last name.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you don't even try. I at least
No,
try.
I don't. I just call you Swapnil.
Yes. So, but I cannot tell your title because you keep adding more and more.
I know.
So,
I know.
so
every
what
year.
is your title now?
So now I head up product, technical, and solution marketing for SUSE.
Perfect. I think as we were talking last night, we were talking about the whole digital transformation. When we look at digital transformation, sometimes people assume that you are going from point A to point B, but the fact is that it's it's kind of a journey, not a destination.
Yes.
Even when you move if you digitize everything, then you move to cloud, then you have to keep up with the serverless or cloud native other technologies. Yes. Then you function as a service will come in, then something new will come in. So what is digital transformation? Can you talk about that?
So when we talk about digital transformation, it's really the transformation that companies need to make to stay relevant in the digital economy. So think about how you did banking 10 years ago. You went into a bank.
I didn't have a bank account.
Well, okay. For those of us that are older, 10 years ago we went into a bank, right? Yes, we had ATM machines, but you had to drive up, you had to do things.
I remember I had to go to the
Yeah, you had to go set up an account.
And
yes.
Stand in the line, get a form, fill the form. I mean, in India I grew up. So.
Yes, so and now you think about all of our transactions, everyone, there are so many mobile devices, and that has really changed the way our economy works. You buy things online, everything is very digital. And in order to stay relevant in that marketplace, every company has to become a software company. And that means transforming to be able to take advantage of the digital economy. So when we talk about digital transformation, it's about that specific transformation going kind of from what we had before to staying relevant in the digital economy. But I agree with you, right? Transformation is an ongoing thing, right? There is nothing more constant than change.
Right.
And IT organizations are continually evolving. So you hear transformation a lot because it never stops. When we think about digital transformation, we're thinking about how companies are really transforming now to be able to continue to compete in the digital economy.
But we have been hearing about digital transformation for a while now, almost a decade now. And SUSE being one of the oldest, the next vendor, and you work with a lot of companies which were founded 100 years ago.
Yes.
Are there still companies that are still on this journey, or you think that most of the companies have completed this journey?
No, there are still a lot of companies that are on this journey. And I spent a couple years living in Europe about a decade ago. And if you compared even just banking back 10 years ago, the US banking system and compared to what Europe was doing was very far behind. In Europe,
so which one was more advanced?
Europe was much further ahead. So they have this idea of chip and pin that they've been using for decades now. In the U.S., we're just getting to chip with signature, but still not with pin. We're further behind from the perspective of we're just getting there. Just in the last 2 years through my bank, I can now send someone money via their mobile number. But in Europe, when I lived there 10 years ago, that's how I paid for services, was directly, it was all digital. So yes, there are still a lot of companies out there. A lot of them have come about because of the digital age. So they aren't as far behind. It's really some of those older companies. And not only do they have to transform their infrastructure, but often they're transforming their business, right, to do different things.
Are there any particular industries, or I know you cannot name the companies, which are kind of, I would say reluctant, but the way they do things that, it's taking them longer versus a lot of other companies?
Well, I think a lot of it depends on legacy. So a lot of companies have legacy systems. They're still running COBOL.
Right.
COBOL programmers are in high demand, right?
Oh, really?
So they're really. You want a good paying job. So you think about some of those more legacy applications that were built, a long time ago. Now the truth is, right, those companies are trying to move forward, but they have these systems that have been ingrained in their companies for many, many years. And it's very difficult to migrate all of that functionality. If you have a company that is 100 years old and they've built up, for example, their whole pricing structure for all of their products in a very old mainframe-based solution. Trying to migrate all of that capability to something new takes a lot of time. So we see it really more with the older companies that have an established old legacy set of applications and infrastructure.
So is it because of the technological challenges, or is it also about the mindset they have? Is it legacy baggage of technology or legacy baggage of mindset?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? And it depends on the company. Some companies, you know, they understand they have to transform and they're committed to that. It's a big challenge for them. Other companies, you are talking to them and they are kind of, you know, happy with the way things are, but ultimately their competition will force them to change because they won't stay relevant.
Right. So is there anything that SUSE does to help them company, because they have this legacy workload and refactoring is expensive, you know, and as they refactor, they don't cease their business, they still have to work.
Yep.
So is there anything SUSE does to help them?
So we're doing a couple things. So one is we have built out our own distribution of Kubernetes with our container as a service platform, which allows customers to, you know, deploy and leverage container. And what we've actually seen a lot of customers doing is taking legacy applications and putting them in containers. Now that's not optimal.
Right.
However, a lot of those legacy applications, when they look at them and they pull them apart over time, what they will do is they'll find that they will create a macro service for that legacy application. So there's this rule of, right, you know, 20% of your code is actually doing 80% of your application, and the other 80% of that code is really handling exceptions. So if over time they can pull off those exceptions into microservices, they can leave that macro service with that 20% of the code that does the majority of that application's work, and that can still leverage containers. They don't have to refactor the entire application, but rather just pull out parts to become those microservices.
I'm also curious that, as you explained, that they're doing that out of their whole IT budget, how much do they waste in just maintaining that code, you know, versus how much they invest in innovation? You know?
Well, we saw a statistic, I think James Staten put it up on there, right? 37% growth in companies that innovate, right? So I think any CTO out there, any IT manager that's looking to really grow, understands that they have to invest in innovation. You can't continue to just put money into maintenance. You have to innovate. And what we help them do is do both, right? So we announced last year SLES 15, our SUSE Linux Enterprise version 15, which is modular, right? And we call it a multimodal operating system because it helps our customers to run their legacy applications, but it's modular in such a way that you can pull out the parts of the operating system, only the parts that you need, and put them in containers to run your cloud native applications. So how does that help a customer? Well, they have to manage a more complex environment because you start having legacy plus all this new innovative stuff. Well, if you have one platform to manage, it's much easier to manage that complexity. If I have one operating system, I can use SUSE Manager, I can go out, find all of my SLE instances, understand where they're at, do they need to be patched, are there any security fixes that need to be pushed, and it's much easier to maintain whether that's a legacy application running on SUSE Linux Enterprise or a container.
You don't make money by maintaining your app, you know. You make money by, you know, adding value, business value to
Yes.
So
yes, that's very true.
right. So how does, you know, the new model, you know, help them that, okay, they do have to maintain, but the investment in maintenance is becoming lower and lower, and it's moving more toward innovation, because as you also said, you know, you have to compete, you know, new models are coming up, and you cannot compete by just maintaining your code. You have to come up with new innovative ideas. 10
years ago, how many of the stores or companies that you did business with had a mobile app? Not very many, right? Now they have mobile apps that they have to maintain. They have to continue to innovate with those mobile apps to stay competitive, and they have to do it quickly, right? So they have to have the capability to create the mobile application, to develop quickly, to innovate while they're doing it. What new technologies can I take advantage? How quickly can I get those into place? Can I fail fast? Can I try things, fail, and ultimately succeed, right, with some of those things. And our everything in our portfolio helps our customers to do that.
So in a nutshell, what I see is that if you don't embrace, this, I mean, I would say digital transformation plus model,
Yes.
it's not, you won't even survive.
Oh, you won't.
Yeah.
Well, another statistic that they were talking about, which I've used in the past, right? If you look at the top 100 companies from 15 years ago, almost 3/4 of them are not those top companies anymore because they haven't transformed. You have to continue to transform, right? Change is constant. If you aren't transforming, you're not going to be here in a decade.
Yeah, so it has to be a critical part of your strategy of survival.
Absolutely, and you have to figure out now, right? When we're talking to customers,
you should have figured out yesterday.
Yeah. And now today, they're not just talking about how do I transform the infrastructure, but how do I expand my infrastructure to take advantage of edge computing and IoT and machine learning and AI. How am I going to take advantage of that to create a competitive advantage against the rest of the market?
Last time we talked about, and you said one of the areas that in emerging technology is IoT.
Yes.
Is it still your area of interest, or as the market is changing so rapidly, you have new interest areas? Or
Well, I really like IoT and edge computing. I find that it's a really fascinating area.
Can you live in today's world without IoT and edge?
No, you can't.
Autonomous car, they are IoT on wheels.
No, yes, exactly. Yeah, car manufacturers now often say what we sell are computers on wheels, right? That's what they sell. But what I find most interesting about IoT are all of the different applications. They are in every industry. They touch you whether you realize it or not. I mean, there's facial recognition. They will track you in a store, know where you are, see that you picked up something, put an advertisement up so that they can personalize what you're seeing to what they know that you like.
Right.
It is incredible the things that are going on. From my fitness tracker,
my AirPod or whatever,
everything.
Nike shoes.
Your shoes are telling you, all kinds of things. It's really incredible, and I find that very fascinating. Even from the medical perspective, they're putting IoT devices in people, tracking their blood sugar. I mean, it's just every area, everything that's going on in this world, tracking cattle, tracking plant growth, right? One of our customers has sensors to track the amount of sun that plants are getting when they're watering them to optimize them so they look the best for customers coming in to buy them.
Yeah, I was talking to a company, they make, I think it's a French company, they make gloves for the factory floor. So their workers, they wear the gloves, and when they pick the object, it scans the object and it they don't have to put it on a scanner for data entry. They have the shoes with the haptic feedback in there.
Incredible.
So, because, it's so loud there, people cannot hear, but through that, they can hear everything.
Yes.
So IoT is doing, we are not even aware of so many use cases.
I know.
So you are absolutely right about it. The only thing IoT somehow, it has kind of earned a bad name in the consumer space because it has not, and all the security. But in IoT, industrial IoT, that's a lot of incredible work is going on there.
And the other thing that I'm always interested is AI and machine learning. And that's because I have a math background, so I find that quite interesting, all of the incredible things going on there.
I don't think you can think of IoT without machine, because
I agree.
When you say, those autonomous cars, they are not computers, they are not disconnected, they are connected, and a lot of decisions are being made. So without AI and machine learning,
they don't happen.
They don't happen. It's more like having a computer with the internet. What will you do?
That's right.
When I see something the internet is down, I'm like, what? There's nothing I can do on there. So your smartwatch, your shoes, everything is dead without.
And I think when 5G comes into play, really, we're going to see an explosion.
Yeah, it's going to be. That's why TFIR. So the F stands for not only fourth, but also fifth. So I was smart to just say it. So once again, Terri, thanks for talking to me today, and
thanks so
it was
much.
fun for me.
Yes.
I don't think that last time we talked about your hobbies.
My hobbies.
Yeah. So what are your hobbies?
Well, I love to read. I was just discussing at dinner the other night all the different books that I've been reading. So I love to read. I have two boys, 8 and 12, that are much into soccer and gymnastics and Boy Scouts and basketball. And so mostly my hobbies are called Mom Taxi. I spend a lot of time on the road. hauling them around, but I love it. I love
Do
being
you have
outside.
chips on your kids so that you can monitor their?
No, but I have thought about it.
So you can monitor how they're progressing in the game.
I have thought about that.
Yeah.
And of course, I love to travel. I just got back from skiing out in Whistler with my family. So traveling has always been a hobby of mine that my kids have now picked up as well.
So, awesome. So you should be bringing them with yourself in conferences.
You might see that in a couple years.
Awesome. Perfect. Thanks once again for talking to me.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Swapnil. Have a great day.
You too.